In 2006, bees across the United States started dying rapidly. So environmental activists put out a simple call to action: save plants and crops by saving the bees. It seems that the country listened. The U.S. honeybee population is now at an all-time high. The U.S. added nearly 1 million bee colonies between 2017 and 2022. That's according to the Census of Agriculture, which puts out data every 5 years. As of 2022, the honeybee population is believed to be at 3.8 million, a 31% increase from 2007. Clay Bolt joins me from Montana. He's the manager of pollinator conservation for the World Wildlife Fund U.S. Thanks so much for being with us. So did we get it wrong that the bees were disappearing, or is this a result of great collective action?
Well, I wish I could say that the increase in honeybee numbers is due to the fact that we've reduced pesticides or increased habitat for bees. But the fact is, honeybees are a domesticated, managed species, and we can rear them in greater and greater numbers as need be. Unfortunately, that's not the case for our wild bee species, our native species. We have around 20,000 species of native bee in the world and around 4,000 in North America. And unfortunately, those numbers are not increasing in the same way that honeybees are.
Let's stay on that for just a second. What are the causes then of those other kinds of bees that are not increasing? And is that danger still acute? And what could some of the downsides be?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest threats to all bees right now are pesticides. We use quite a lot of pesticides on our crops. And particularly if you look in the early 1990s when neonicotinoid pesticides, or neonics for short, were introduced, we began to see declines in not only in honeybees, but also many of our native bee populations. So reducing that would go a really long way towards helping those native species.
And now to the question that some people will wonder, okay, why do I need to care so much about bees? Knock them down with some piece of information that centers this conversation on what the effect of all of this could be.
Well, we typically think of bees as really important for producing our food, and there's a meme going around that if bees were to disappear, human life would immediately disappear. Well, the truth is, we would still have some things to eat. Many of our grains, corn, wheat, are wind pollinated primarily. But the fact is that insects, like pollinators, are so vital to all of the ecosystems in the world. So you'd start to see collapses not just in food, but also in songbirds, in white-tailed deer that graze on plants that are supported by pollinators. The plants that pollinators, like native bees, for example, bumblebees, help pollinate, sequester water, keep carbon in the soil. So you would see these cascading effects across all ecosystems in the world. In other words, it goes well beyond the food that we eat.
And so just to sum up here at the end, give us a sense of what is positive in these developments, and then where the area of improvement still needs to take place and what can be done to help in that area.
Well, I think what's positive is that people are paying attention to bees. I think we have come a long way in the last 20 years in terms of understanding the value of bees of all kinds to the ecosystems in the world. And so just the fact that I can have a conversation with my neighbor about pollinators now is something that I couldn't do when I first started working on bees quite a few years ago. I think, though, that we really have to get beyond the idea of using systemic pesticides on every crop we produce without any kind of thoughtfulness. I think that, going to a more thoughtful, careful use of pesticides would certainly increase the pollinator populations we have, and also providing space. Plants, bees need pretty much what we need. They need a pesticide-free environment. They need food, which comes in the form of native wildflowers, and they need a place to raise their young. And if we can provide those things, then bees would do a great job of coming back.
Clay Bolt with the World Wildlife Fund U.S. Thank you so much, Clay.
Thank you.